Explain the process of how a car is chosen. I never understood this. Gotcha. The skit that this came from was a subprime deal. Dude had like a 498, and basically I was going through how that process would work. Effectively, what it looks like. Each bank is going to have its own set of basically risk parameters, right, for the customer, but also for vehicles as well. For example, 9 times out of 10 in a luxury vehicle, it's not going to score well because for their risk calculator with, the type of customers they typically work with, the terms they give are going to be not as good, meaning they're going to require more down or they're going to approve you for less of the vehicle. For example, let's say I have a $20,000 vehicle that's luxury or what have you, like a BMW or something. It's got a decent amount of miles on it because of how expensive it is to maintenance and how risky that is, because if the car has any issues, this risky customer probably isn't going to be able to afford to get the stuff done on it. But it's a lot of risk in the deal. Then they'll typically have they'll approve only up to, let's say, $10,000 or $15,000 on that specific car, where the rest of that comes in is going to be on the customer. Not to mention bank fees can get involved as well. For example, hey, to do this deal, we're going to charge you guys $3,000 of that, which comes out of our profitability, which is why down payment is so important. I'm not getting into the legalities of the shit. I'm just breaking down how it really works. When we're choosing a vehicle, what we're ultimately looking for is the car that's going to, hopefully, fit what the customer wants. But that's honestly the last thing I'm considering. Main thing is I'm trying to get a deal done that's, decent. It's not a charity. I have to make a profit. Depending on kind of where I'm at, how many cars we sold, it's a number of different factors to go into it. It's how much I want to make. Obviously, I want to make as much as possible. So typically, that's the first vehicle I'm going to, put the customer on or have them test drive, see if they like it. I'm also going to take into account, okay, how much they have down. How much do you think I can, like what they tell me isn't necessarily what they got, because nobody comes into a dealership and is like, yo, this is exactly how much I got to put down to the penny. They don't do that. They say 500, 1,000. They tell you basically what they want to put down. Based off of that, typically I'll do a bit of a stretch, and there's some sales tactics that you can kind of do to try to get that down payment, more of that out of them. But ultimately, I'm working with, their credit history and what the bank has told me that, they can kind of approve them on. There's some rehashing that can happen in the back end where I can maybe try to vehicle fit. For example, if I have an old age unit where we've had it for like, let's say 60 days, the reason why having an old age inventory is so critical to like moving that vehicle out is because most dealerships, they don't just buy cash for their car and own it. They have basically a loan on that vehicle similar to y'all's. It's called basically a floor plan is what it is. They're financing that vehicle at a certain amount of times. A certain amount of time, they start losing money on that vehicle because they have to start making payments on it. The more payments they make, the less profitability that they have in that vehicle. So that's also taken into consideration. So it's a whole big circle, but ultimately we're looking for the vehicle within the structure that the bank has given us in that subprime situation that will give us the most profitability. That's how the car is chosen. It's typically going to be something that's lower mileage, safer, that's newer, that the bank just likes. Kia Fortes, Altimas, things of that nature typically do pretty well. But that's basically, how the vehicle's chosen. If that makes sense. Follow me for more of these shits.